Well, good morning out there in Facebook land, TikTok world, everywhere. There's going to be a clip of this going live or just a recording thereof. How y'all doing out there? I'm Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, the art of Monty Anderson. Hopefully, y'all doing great and had a great Friday the 13th, as it is now Sunday. Sunday the 15th. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie Saturday the 14th, but it's a very hilarious movie from back in the day. Now, I know a lot of people would think it's campy and cheesy, and it was, but it was funny. It was a funny movie back in the day. So, welcome again. Welcome aboard, everybody. Again, I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, the art of Monty Anderson. Hopefully, again, you all are doing great. We're going to be talking about support today, because I keep seeing it float around left and right on different boards that I'm on and things like that, um, where people feel like they don't get supported by other artists that they support on a regular basis. And that's true. So we'll get into all that here in just a moment. Hopefully, we don't land on any restrictions today, but we might. Who knows? Go ahead and getting the cat ball set up right there. For those of you that don't know, we live in a haunted house here. And so, with all of that, we set up cat balls, and including the ones up here. The three that are up here right now. One on Diego the Jester, one on Maribel the doll over there, and then one on top of the zombie dice next to the Dybbuk box. And so those go off periodically, and I can sit here and jump on the floor and they won't go off. Now, if I open up the fridge, yeah, they're going to go off. At least one of them is, which is understandable because physically getting moved right there. So, all right. It is early morning as we always come on. 412 is when we tried to get here. We're a little bit later than that today, but that happens. So, all right, we got a lot of things happening. We got a huge bunch of sales going on, which you can find on my page. We've got reviews of comic books that we're getting ready to be doing. I didn't get to those. The newest image right here on the horror series is Voorhees. I did him on Friday the 13th. Just made the cut for Friday the 13th. So he's still in rough pencil stage. Unlike Freddy here, who needs to be inked up now. And also the first one that kicked it off, which was Ghostface. I think Pumpkinhead or Candyman is going to be up next. And then, of course, again, another Michael Myers, another. Because of my horror series, I've already done several of these characters up before. Ghostface, I'd never done before. Freddy and Jason, I have. Michael, I have. Art the Clown. The list goes on and on. And so those will be the ones that I'll be working on next, is like a Pumpkinhead, a Candyman, Chucky again. Just obscure characters as well. Iron Lung was also thrown in the mix out there from the horror movie Iron Lung. So it's a very interesting creature, by the way. I need to watch that movie so I know what it really looks like, because the pictures online just kind of look, I mean, they're there, and there's a lot of them. A lot of different depictions of what this character or creature looks like. So we will get into that. Roy, who I know is not on this morning, I got both your shirts ready for you right here. They both come in Bum, bum, bum. So both your shirts are in, buddy. We'll be getting you those most likely today. I don't know if I'm gonna break into that or not. That's just another can of worms over there. Old movie posters that I used to collect from the actual movie theaters and things like that. So yes, I do have a few movie posters sitting behind me in a tube, all rolled up, and support rolling gaming AI. The AI summary sucks on this thing. Just FYI. Why are you beeping at me? Yeah. It's a lot. I say a lot, but who knows how many's actually in here. What is this one? Ah, what is this one? It's actually a pretty cool one. This isn't a. This is one that you bought at the store originally, but it's Underworld. Kate Beckinsale, Underworld, right there. Still sealed in the plastic wrapper. And again, a lot of these I got from actual movie theaters themselves. Like Wolf, right here. Bum, bum, bum. Actual movie poster for Wolf. What else we got up in here? Jennifer's Body. It looks like. Oh, it's got wet. And this one's a double-sided. The Hulk. Looks like Watchmen. Two different Watchmen. Bunch of movie posters up in here. And it looks like it did get wet at some point in time, which is unfortunate. For as old as some of these are, just trying to peel from the middle. Let's see what I've got going on in there. What it looks like there. Sorority Row. The Watchmen. 2009 is when this came out. 2009. About when all these came out. Whenever I was getting a bunch of movie posters and things from the movie theaters. So there you go. We got quite a few over here. I'm gonna have to look at them because it looks like some of them got wet, and which is unfortunate. All right. So today's title is support. Support, support, support. We see a lot of creators out there that have their Cash App and Venmo and PayPal and all that stuff readily available to send them money on a regular basis. But that's not the support I'm talking about because, most of the people that have that are women with their boobs out, all that good stuff. And you're just sending them money because of the way they look. Let's just be honest. Let's be real. But in the comic book industry, it's a little bit tougher than that. As an artist, you don't get the support that you give a lot of times. because I know I've supported a lot of creators out there when it comes to their projects. And my blood type is my blood type. When you're a vampire, all the blood is your type. And so I know I've supported a lot of campaigns out there, Kickstarter campaigns from different artists and creators and things like that. And I do not get the same support back. Although they talk about supporting the indie comic side of things. And but yet for them to buy another artist's work is like pulling teeth. Now, unless you're a super famous artist or something like that that they want something from, then they will support that artist. But I've noticed that a lot of artists beg for the support of others, but yet don't reciprocate in kind. Because I know I supported a specific artist for X amount of their Kickstarters. And then once I realized, oh, I'm not seeing any return from this person, period. I've kind of just stopped supporting them. And, Ben Dunn, I will continue to support because he feeds me work, not like as in money and stuff like that, but um, I do get recognition from him at least. And he is a big time comic producer with Antarctic Press. He does his Ninja High School. He does all of his different uh, titles under Antarctic Press. Kendra, his newest creation, Tomorrow Girl, things of that nature. Um, in fact, possibly tomorrow, I will be doing my reviews of three of the books from Antarctic Press on my YouTube channel. And then I've got one that is from Dog or Diebold Comics. I don't know why I said dog, but Diebold Comics. And so that one's going to be cool. It's a standalone story right now. It's a continuation story, but this is their first book. I am doing a review, be doing an honest review on it, just like I try to do on everybody's. Not every review that I do I like. And I'm honest with that. I even say that in my review. This book isn't for me. Blah blah blah. Those type things. But that is support as well from that side of the fence. So why won't other artists support other artists? Is the big key question here, and that's an age old question because even looking back through history, you don't see a lot of support from artist to artist when it comes to um, purchasing their stuff or continuation of promoting them or sharing their stuff. Like now, it's so easy. If I like somebody's work, I'm going to share it. I'm going to like it. I'm going to talk about it. If I don't like your work, I don't have to say work. I don't have to say shit about it. You know, if you don't like my work, okay, big deal. That's you. I've got a lot of other people that love the work. You know, it's just like my two new pieces, not new, but they're up here now. They glow under black light. You know, and you put them side by side, and it creates Michael Keaton's face in two of his characters, Beetlejuice and Batman from 1989 and 1992. But as far as support from other artists, I don't see it. I support them. I like their stuff. I share their stuff. I will talk about their stuff. But when it comes to the same reciprocation, it's not there. And I don't get it. And I see that happen a lot. Like I said, that's why we're talking about this today, is because I see that a lot when it comes to different people's posts that they put out there when it comes to um, the different pages that I follow, especially artist pages and stuff like that. And then on the creative comic side of things, the indie comic side and stuff like that, I see the same stuff. You know, why won't somebody support somebody else? And bottom line is, it comes down to they're an arrogant prick sometimes, and they think their shit doesn't stink, and they think they're higher and mightier than everybody else just because of what they've been on and who they know. You know, that's the biggest kicker is who they know and how they've got where they've gotten. Um, yeah, there's a little bit of talent involved there, but when it boils down to it, their stuff is stiff, you know. And so you've got to balance it all. You know, if you're going to support X amount of people, hopefully they do the same for you and reciprocate with, you know, the likes, shares, follows, and talking about your work. Um, I've got another guy that will follow me all day long, like my stuff, share my stuff out there, but never buy from me, you know. And but he buys from all these other people and talks about, you know, all of their amazing stuff that he's just got in from them, you know. And then let's talk about the ones that jump ship, because you have that a lot, because they got butt hurt over something. And, you know, it's like, well, they were a huge supporter of yours for the longest period of time. And then all of a sudden something happened they didn't like. And now they won't even talk to you, you know? But yet they were buying stuff from you left and right on a regular basis, even commissioning stuff on a regular basis. And now you send them stuff and talk to them or try to talk to them, and they leave you delivered, or they read it and just leave you on red. You know, the age old thing of leaving you on red now in today's society. And you just got to roll with the punches when it comes to it, because not everybody's going to support other people, especially in the creative side of things. Even a lot of musicians don't support other musicians, you know, and it's sad that that's the case, especially whenever we're all working for the same goal. I'm not jealous of your work because my work stands alone by itself. You know, your work stands alone by itself. And it's like, if you're just going to be a conceited prick about things, then I'm better off not even dealing with you. And I will tell you that to your face, you know? And then there's other sad but true things out there. I saw another creator talking about how they're done, um, talking about the AI situation and stuff like that. And if it gets back to him, oh well, you know, I don't care. I think it's because he got called out one too many times for blatantly calling somebody's work AI when it really wasn't, you know. And I think that's what prompted him to back off of calling stuff AI. AI does suck in the art world, you know, for us artists, and it is a bad thing, you know. But so many people are gravitating towards it that it's ridiculous. So many posts you see are nothing but AI. And then I've got another creative friend that still wants to support me and things like that. But all of his stuff that he's generating now is AI stuff. His new logo is AI generated, even though he said somebody else built it for him. It's AI generated. Um, he is doing a lot of his own comic stuff, AI generated form. He's also in the process of creating his movie via AI generated for his characters. And it's just like, that's not creative. It's cool looking, yes, but it's not creative in any stretch of the imagination. And it's just like, and the way you started this all was you wanted naturalized artwork. You didn't want AI stuff. But now all of a sudden you flip the script and everything you're doing is AI generated. And it's just like even your profile pictures and stuff like that are AI generated profile pictures. And it's just like I just don't understand it. You know, you how you flip the switch so fast when it came down to that. And it's just like AI will never have a place in my world. I have it turned off everywhere. I don't even use the new Adobe products because they incorporate AI with them. You know, that's how much I dislike AI. Now, again, like I've said before in the past and many times over, AI has its place when it comes to finding certain diseases early so that they can be prevented, you know, in the medical field. Totally get it. But when it comes to music, I've heard some AI music, it's trash. 100% trash. Excuse me. I've heard or I've seen AI artwork many, many times over. In fact, there is a case in point. Actually, I'm going to print it out. And it's from a very high profile person, Miss Carmen Electra. Let me find it here just a second. And she had a photo shoot done, but then it was AI generated photo shoot. And let me find, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Bum, 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 right here. This is ridiculous. I mean, completely ridiculous. I mean, yes, Carmen Electra is still relevant. She's still, you know, doing her thing, still looking young, all that good stuff, blah, blah, blah. But you don't need to AI generate your shit. And I'm just going to show you if you haven't seen them yet before. And then, come on, you're being slower than Christmas this morning. I should have had it printed out, but I apologize on that. But no, it's AI generated shit is taking over everything. And you can tell what's AI generated and what's not for the most part. And you're going to be able to really see in this picture once I get it to print, once it pulls up everything. It's Jesus Christ, dude. Come on. There we go. All right. Get the print sign. And if you can get your hands to do this, kudos to you. You need to be in the circus or something. Um, and again, you're going to see what I'm talking about in just a moment once I am able to get this to finally work. Make sure this is on as well. But AI generated stuff has no place anywhere, especially when it comes to the comic realm and things of that nature. But I know that there are a lot of AI generated uh, comics out there and things like that, and that's how people are getting their stuff out, you know, left and right real fast. Because I saw a band that had just come out, and they already had like 4 albums out, all in this year, and it's just like that is highly unheard of, you know. And then I got to reading it, it's like AI generated this, that, and the other, and I'm like, oh, that makes more sense. That is the way you've got your uh, albums out so quickly is because it is all AI generated shit. And again, more power to them. all that good stuff. But hopefully they don't get booked to any um, convention, or not conventions, but um, music or venues or anything like that, because I can only imagine what that would sound like in real life. And now we're gonna take forever to print because whatever. There we go. All right. So Carmen Electra. Everybody knows who Carmen Electra is. She's been, from Baywatch to, whatever movie she's been in, to Playboy, to all this, that, and the other. And she's still making uh, photo shoots and things today. She's 183 years old. She's a vampire, all that good stuff. But here's what kills me. Just do your photo shoot, okay? Just do your photo shoot. You don't have to AI generate shit, okay? Now, again, if your hands can do this, more power to you. You need to be in a circus sideshow somewhere, but just check out her hands. Check out the hands. Do we see a problem here? I know I can't make my hands do that, but check out the hands. Do you see a problem here? Do you see a problem here? If you don't see a problem here, then you've got a problem. Her body's going one way, her hands are going another way. So make that make sense, AI. And this is just some of the problems that AI has when it comes to doctoring photos out there. And it's like, but so many people want to push it. So many people want to praise AI. If you listen to the music, it's trash. There's no soul, there's no heart, there's no nothing in it. You read stuff that has been AI generated, it is pretty flat and dry. Um, I know a lot of people are pushing AI and going into the AI shit, and I've got a lot of friends that swear by it. They'll put their catalog of work into Chat GPT and all that bullshit, and get a review and all that stuff. And you know, and a lot of these people are the people that I've supported in the past, bought their stuff, helped them with things, given them discounts, and then I don't get a return. They don't buy my artwork. They don't um, like, share, or follow my stuff. You know, and it's just like the whole support issue rolls back around into it all. You know, and I know people get busy. I know things like that happen, and stuff like that. But whenever you are seeing it on a regular basis, no matter what platform you're on, then why aren't you supporting someone that has supported you? Especially someone that has supported you from almost day one, you know? And those are the questions that are being asked out there by many, many, many people. And it's just like, well, I can't answer these questions because I don't know. I don't know what goes on in the mind of someone that you supported over and over and over again, but yet they can't turn around and support you. They won't even like, share, or follow your stuff. And it makes no sense. A lot of things just don't make sense, especially in today's age. Back in the day, there used to be support left and right. I could name, 15 people right off the top of my head who, if I supported them, they supported me back. And I'm talking about in the 90s and early 2000s. But then all of a sudden, everything changed, and nobody wants to support anybody. It's just me for myself, and that's how it goes anymore. It's just like the creators that you see on here. They aren't in it to help other people, even though they say they are. They've got their Venmo, their PayPal, all that good stuff on their page. And, you know, and most of the time, they've got the lowest cut shirt on or an open robe with nothing else on underneath it, those type things. And people are like, oh, they've got a Venmo and a PayPal. Here, let me just send them money, or they send them the galaxies and all that good stuff over here. Uh, that does generate money for the creator. And, you know, over here, what do I get? I get 18 cents. That's what it boils down to. Whenever people send me my gifts or things over here, you know. And that's fine. I'm not in it for the money per se. I'm in it to make my products known. I'm in it to m- make sure my sales get out there of my artwork and things like that. So, but support needs to happen in the art field, in the art world. And it just doesn't happen as much as people say it does. Um, just because I see it on a regular basis, and it's not just from me. I'm not griping for me. I'm griping for a community of artists out there, and that's writers, musicians, um, actors, actresses, artists, painters, illustrators, digital artists, not AI artists, but digital artists. And so, you know, even the paranormal needs its support. I saw that a couple of people got canceled because they were caught in a bunch of lies, um, and they ended up getting canceled, which hurts their business, of course. But don't lie about what you're doing. Everything, all of my paranormal stuff is genuine. You know, if these cat balls go off up here at any point in time, ain't nothing attached to it. This cycles on a regular basis and they don't go off. Maribel has set hers off several times. Um, this one has gone across my desk and landed on my American flag that I've got here on my desk. And, prior to being recorded. So, and then my EVP sessions that I've got, especially the clearest one that I got in a minute, 8 seconds after setting up my camera in the front room with, hey, come back, come back. That was pretty cool. I don't have to fake shit here in my house. Um, and I know that I've heard that a lot of paranormal people have faked a lot of things, when it comes to just for entertainment purposes only. And that comes back to bite you in the ass in the paranormal field. So, don't do it. Just be honest with everybody. If you didn't catch anything that day, you didn't catch anything that day. Big whoop. It's not always, you're not always going to capture something. We capture orbs in here, which I'm going to download my last show and look at the orb when it goes through to see if it was an orb or a bug. That's how you debunk things. Because I do have a fly that's in here on occasion, or a moth that flies around through here on occasion, but that's very rare in the office. Um, so, you know, so with the paranormal stuff, well, hello from Manhattan. Taylor, welcome to the show. What's happening in Manhattan right now? It's cold up there, isn't it? You guys are getting some winter weather, I think. If I've seen some reports correctly, yeah. I'm down here. It is 63 degrees, where I'm at in Arkansas. And so yeah, I feel for you. I've got other friends up that direction, up in Maine and things like that, that are talking about it's always cold and wet here. Well, I'm sorry. That does suck. I mean, I guess you could say that it's not Seattle, where it rains all the time, and how grunge was started, where grunge was started because of the weather. Uh, but yeah, I'm sorry that it is, and I understand that too because I've got some friends in New Jersey, up that way, and the guy I did a comic book for, Legacy Comics up there, but it's fucking cold. Ha ha ha. What is the temperature there? Because like I said, it's 66 degrees here. We're going to be closer to 80 degrees by the end of the day. Uh, so I feel for you. Because where a friend of mine is at Maine, it was like 5 degrees with a wind chill of making it like -3 or something like that, where he's at. So I feel for you. I do. I wish we had some of that weather still down here, the cooler temperatures, until, it breaks in April, whenever the last freeze hits down here. You guys have a last freeze that goes all year round, apparently, up in that direction. So, and again, I feel for you up there, especially with the windy stuff. And I mean, Oklahoma, Arkansas has a bunch of wind too, because that's why we're Tornado Alley and things like that. So, but yeah, again, 66 degrees, going to creep up to closer to 80 by the end of day. So yeah, it's nice here for those that love the really warm weather. I know it's not super warm yet, like it will get towards the summertime when we'll break over 100 degrees. So all that good stuff. But back to why other artists don't support other artists on a regular basis. Sorry, it's not that cold this week, but was a couple weeks ago. It's high in the low 30s. I got you. I mean, that's not horrible. We're gonna get down one of these weekends. We're gonna have some severe weather that's gonna drop the temperatures again. Like I said, we our last freeze usually happens in April, so we're not too far from that, being March, getting towards the end of March. We're middle of March right now, and our last freeze usually happens in April. Our last hard freeze, and so that's when you can start setting out your plants, doing your garden, all that good stuff, without having to keep it covered because of cold temperatures and things like that. So I live on a homestead. I do artwork. I'm a disabled veteran as well, and so this is my life, and and so we get to do fun stuff like this. This is a rough sketch up of my Jason Voorhees from my Friday the 13th. I got it done just at the end of Friday the 13th before I could say, well, it's not Friday the 13th theme anymore. But that's what I'm working on right now. But we're also talking about support. We had the worst blizzard a couple of weeks ago. We got 30 inches. I heard about that. I did hear about that because again, I got a friend in Jersey up there, and he gripes about the cold as well. Um, he's the guy, like I said, Legacy Comics, that I'm doing the Condry Man's Best Friend 8-page comic book, standalone comic book that incorporates the rest of his Condry series that he's got going on. So be looking for that when it is out in solid form now. It is in book form now. It was in digital only, but it is in book form. I'll be getting my copies here pretty soon once he gets them back. And then I'll have my comps to peddle myself. Um, but yeah, so many comic supporters don't support other comic people, even though they've supported their Kickstarters or bought merchandise from them and things of that nature. And it just doesn't make sense. It boggles your mind. Why won't you support somebody that supported you, especially knowing that they're an artist as well? And and it happens not just in the art industry. Um, oh, you're being followed. That's not a good thing. But yeah, we can absolutely talk. Absolutely talk. So in Manhattan, what's fun to do there? we're going to change topics, folks, because we have someone that is in need. And oh no, you're fine. We'll talk until we'll even talk while you're in the Uber. I don't care. Everything's fun to do there. Well, that's cool because there's you have to pick and choose what you want to do here in Arkansas. Now, if you like outdoors, plenty of outdoor stuff to do. You can go hang gliding if you want to. You can rappel. You can go hikes. Go swimming, go to lakes. All kinds of see different forest sceneries, mountains, all that good stuff. I, for one, have never been up to Manhattan area. I've always thought it would be cool to get up that direction. Just haven't made that trip yet. The closest I've been is Maine when I was going to Afghanistan, but that was all at night, so I didn't get to see much out there on that note. Um, are you heading to work, Taylor, or are you coming in from a night? Yes, Maine is beautiful. A friend of mine who's up there, he sends me pictures all the time, or post pictures as well, and he's got a beautiful view. I mean, he's got Canada right across the river from where his house is, and so it is pretty cool. And then he's got this shoe bill that oh, you're getting off work. You're a doctor. That's awesome. That's cool. We got a doctor on here. I played one on TV. No, I'm just kidding. A lot of people get me confused for whatever that doctor is on Grey's Anatomy because we're both in the military. We both have the red hair, all that good stuff. Horton, I think, was it Horton? I can't remember what his name is. But a lot of people. I had one woman that was in Walmart, and she was like, "Now I know you're not him, but," and I was like, "Do you want my autograph now?" And she was like, "No, really?" And I was like, "No, I know who you're talking about, but no, that's not me." And she was like, "I knew it wasn't you, but can I get a picture anyway?" Sure, let's do it. You can tell all your friends that you ran into him right here in Fort Smith, Arkansas, and so I mean, I am an actor, but not of that caliber. I do acting for some small films here in Fort Smith or in the Arkansas area, not just in Fort Smith, but I do voice acting as well. So there you go, Taylor. I mean, um, so you're a doctor. What's the craziest thing you've seen when it comes to something you've had to do perform? And because I know that's the first thing on people's mind whenever they say whenever they hear doctor, come out of someone's mouth. Oh, I'm a doctor. Oh, really? So, what's the craziest thing you've seen? That's where my mind goes. What's the craziest thing you've seen? Is it anything like the horror movies out there? You know that they show you. The weird things that happen, and then my life in the ER when people come in with or what was that? What was the one where they came in with all the different things inserted inside their body? You know that one. That show was off the chain. Let's go that route. So, but yeah, don't forget to like, share, and follow when you get here, and I will follow you guys back. Oh, okay. A psychiatrist. I'm not sure what that first word means. Foreignic, foreignic psychiatrist. Well, that's cool. Then we won't get into any case files since you're a psychiatrist, and because that's confidentiality, we can't get into any of those. And I understand that because my therapist tells me that all the time. Unless I'm going to harm someone. Oh, very cool. See, I draw serial killers as well. I've got a, um, where is he? He's back there. A Gacy. Not, no, no, not Gacy. Sorry. Um, oh crap. I just went blank. Anyway, I've got a serial killer one that my girlfriend decided she wanted me to draw up, and so we drew him up, and it turned out pretty cool. I've got some shirts of him as well, hoodies and all that good stuff. So, but that no, that's cool that you work with serial killers. We are gonna have to talk, and I know you can't divulge a lot of things. But thank you for the follow. I appreciate that, and I will follow you back, Taylor. Not in the creepy way like the person is following you apparently right now, waiting for your Uber. Um, because that ain't cool at all. Yeah, John Wayne Gacy. That's not the one I drew up. Um, I'm trying to think of who the I drew up, and I've gone blank on him. He's a. I mean, he's been there's been many movies made about him. Um, he picked up the guys, brought them back to the house, had them in the crawl space, ate them, all that good stuff. Um, Jeffrey Dahmer. There we go. I got a Jeffrey Dahmer piece in my collection of stuff. I'll send you a picture after the fact. No, no, no. You were fine. Nothing to be sorry about. We're here for you because we know that you're in a situation. Okay, you just got off work. You're waiting for your Uber. Someone's hanging around. We're not going to leave you alone. Okay, we actually that's cool, and I'm sure a lot of them need to be studied. You know, because to find out why they did what they did. I mean, Charles Manson. He didn't technically take anybody's lives, but his following did. You know, yep, Son of Sam, absolutely. Um, there's a lot of fascinating serial killers out there, and I followed many of them. That's why I'm kind of into the horror scene when it comes to horror movies and sci-fi movies and things like that. And I've seen all the documentaries and the movies and things like that about each one of the ones that are out there that you've probably studied, you know, as a case study. And it's fascinating on a morbid level, if you will. And and I know there's a lot of podcasts and TikTok shows about serial killers and things like that as well. Um, I've got one person that I follow that she discusses a lot of the like Salem witch trials and stuff like that. Halloween 2007. Yeah, there you go. It's a good one. I mean, I like the original stuff more than I do the remakes. Now, Rob Zombie, he did some good stuff with some of the remakes that he did with his movies, and then of course House of a Thousand Corpses and 31, and I mean Lords of Salem. I mean, he's got a ton of great movies out there, and his mind when it comes to just the horror genre is just amazing. You know, he's probably somebody that needs to be studied because, you know, that's why I do what I do. Well, there you go. See, and that's awesome. I mean, I think that's cool. I've never actually met a serial killer psychiatrist, therapist, or whatever you want to call you. I mean, you called yourself what you were up there, and but that's very cool. I mean, you see that like on Criminal Minds and stuff like that, where they bring in the experts, which would what you would be in that field. You would be the expert there that they would call in and be like, okay, we need a profile of this guy or girl because what's the percentage of women serial killers? That's a question because I'm not really sure I know that answer. That's a completely different breed of animal right there. When it comes to gang members, that's completely different because serial killers generally come off as the nice guy, the nice girl. Less than 5% nationwide. Okay, I knew it was low. I didn't know how low it was, but 'cause I was thinking like 3%, but yeah, so 5%. Okay, cool. Now we kind of know because yeah, you don't see a whole lot of women serial killers, you know, when it comes to that type of thing, and and it makes sense when it comes down to it, but everybody's led in a different direction, a different path, and it starts young, the whole process. And there's telltale signs, they say. 100%. And I know you know exactly what the telltale signs are. And and you and if let's say we walk through Walmart, we could probably both of us could probably pick out at least 10 potential uh, would be serial killers out there if we just walk through Walmart, you know, or any grocery store or something like that. You can just get a vibe for that. And then mannerisms and things like that as well. What up, Dennis? Welcome to the show. We're on with the doctor here, not Dennis, but Taylor, and we've been discussing serial killers. So, we've talked about Dahmer and Gacy and Manson so far. There's tons. Son of Sam. Then you got B2K, BTK. All those fun ones out there, if you will, and how only less than 5% of the population is women serial killers. So those are some good facts, some good things to have. And we were talking about the Jeffrey Dahmer because the artwork piece that I've got of Jeffrey Dahmer that the girlfriend wanted me to draw up. Um, as he's eating a sausage. Oh, but yeah. So Manhattan, the city that never sleeps, or is that Las Vegas? I don't know. Which one has that slogan? The city that never sleeps. No, we were talking. No, New York City never. Okay, New York City. Okay, that's it. We were Taylor and I were talking about if she and I walked through Walmart, then we could probably pinpoint who was going to be or who is a serial killer, uh, or any grocery store chain as that at that matter of fact. We could probably pinpoint 10 different ones that would are currently or potentially could be the next, you know, serial killers. And but yeah, New York City never sleeps. Yeah, there's something going on 24/7. And you get some towns and some states that are that way. There's something happening 24/7 on a regular basis, and it's kind of crazy. We don't want to scare anyone, but 1 out of 100. I'm not scared by that fact. I already knew that was pretty much um, there, you know. And don't forget to like, share, and follow. I know some people have already followed, and I appreciate that, and I will follow back. And but yeah, no, the whole fact that stat is, um, but 1 out of every 100 is yes, absolutely. It's a horrible website to go visit unless you need some humor in your life, and then go visit peopleofwalmart.com and and laugh. Sometimes it's a little scary, but yeah, to know that 1 out of every 100 uh, people, and there's how many billions of people on the planet? Was it like 3.5 or 4 billion people on the planet? So do that math. 1 in 100, and say there's 4 billion people on the planet. 9.5 billion people on the planet. Okay, see, I was way off. So 9.5, 1 in 100. There's a lot of serial killers out there. That's all I'm saying. Even if you don't do the math, at 9.5 billion people, 1 in 100 is a potential serial killer. That's a ton of people that haven't been caught. Wow, that's crazy. I mean, 35 is a lot in and of itself, especially in that. Is that just in the Manhattan area? Because you got to think about all the ones that have never been caught either. So, you get the ones that messed up, got caught, and obviously we have movies about. And then you've got the other ones, excuse me, that haven't been yet. And I mean, like good old Freddy Krueger, he was caught, you know. So, he was caught and the parents did justice on him, you know. And Ghostface, you know, you get copycats like that as well. Because I think, wasn't it BTK had copycats that went out and did stuff in his name? I think Son of Sam might have had it too. And then the Zodiac Killer, those type things. Um, but I know that there was a few copycats out there as well when it came to some of the more mainstream known the serial killers that were out there in the world. So yeah, but if you think about really thinking about Michael Myers, could be the only movie that could be true. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Because um, let's take Jason here, Voorhees, right there. We know that one couldn't be true because he passed on. You know, Freddy Krueger in Dreams. Okay, and then Ghostface. Now, Ghostface could be true as well because it's just a person in a suit and it changes up. It's just like Hard Eyes. If you've seen Hard Eyes, that one was pretty interesting. Um, because Michael Myers, the unfortunate thing about Michael Myers with the Halloween series is that he's supposedly just a guy that's in a unit, you know. Hard Eyes, yes, is on Netflix, I'm pretty sure. That one was very, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but there's three killers when it comes to Hard Eyes. So, although you think you're just dealing with one, you're dealing with three entities, three people in costume or outfits, not costumes, that are offing people in the movie, and everybody just thinks it's one person, one one serial killer. Well, then take up Scream with Ghostface. He changes as well, so you don't have just the same character playing him every time. Um, Now, again, with Michael Myers, he's in an institution, but all of a sudden he's got this superhuman strength. He gets bullets, he gets stabbed, he gets all this stuff, and yet just basically flinches it off. That's the unreality that I have with Michael Myers. He's supposedly just this regular kid that grew up in an institution that has been institutionalized his entire life, but yeah, he's got these superhuman powers, you know? Well, I haven't been a kid. Well, I'm always a kid, but I haven't been a kid for a long time. The 2007 one, no, I was much older than a kid then. 'Cause I'm 54, I'll be 55 this year. 71 is my birth year. And so, yeah, I've seen all the originals when they came out, um, and uh, and so that's the only issue I have with the whole Michael Myers thing. It's a great franchise. There's a couple of ifs in there, just like there is with the Friday the 13th franchise, just like there is with Nightmare on Elm Street, those type things. Even the reboot for Nightmare on Elm Street, I didn't really like, but I got what they were doing. They were showing why the town did what they did, more so than they did in the original one with Robert Englund. And so, yes, the ones that could be potentially true life serial killers, Michael Myers, Ghostface, Hard Eyes, those type things. Um, those all could be true potential real life right now, walking your streets, watching you through your curtains, those type things. Now, come on. Jason 10 was pretty out there. Jason in space, come on. But yes, Freddy versus Jason. That one was just a complete camp um, comedy all the way around. Just because everybody had seen these two iconic characters, horror villains, growing up, all of their different movies that they were making, and then they were like, "We've got to do this. We've got to pit these two together because you got a supernatural being versus a supernatural being, but one is in dreams, one is in reality, and so now we've got to make Jason go to sleep so that they can meet up, you know." I mean, Jason Goes to Hell was pretty campy as well. So yeah, there's some funny ones out there. And that's why I say certain franchises just need to stop at a certain point because we've got what 15 installments of Friday, Friday the 13th. I think it's a little under that, but it's very close. We've got 8 to 10 Nightmare on Elm Streets. We've got 7 working on 8 for Scream franchise. Um, Hard Eyes only one. My Bloody Valentine has the original plus the remake. Um, I mean, the list goes on and on. And there's some movies that don't need remakes. Period. Halloween. I get why Rob Zombie wanted to do a remake. You know, and he got 2 out of his Halloween franchise under him, and they were both good. I liked them. There's just some remakes like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remakes that didn't need to happen. Period. And I mean, I get they want to update and refresh the whole franchise to bring in new viewers and things like that. But and I get Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 horrible, campy. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. And then whenever all the 3D stuff came out in the 90s, Jaws 3D, Jason 3D, Piranha 3D. I mean, so on and so forth. There was so much campy stuff that happened back in the 90s that didn't need to happen. But they were like, "Hey, 3D is the next best thing," and now we don't even have any 3D movies anymore. Um, but if you buy some of these movies on and you have a 3D TV, you can still watch them that way, or find them and watch them on TV and things like that. And because yes, they made 3D TVs for a hot minute. We actually have one. My girlfriend has one, and so it's set up in the bedroom. And so, if you have some 3D movies to watch, throw them on. We'll put the glasses on and we'll go from there. And so yeah, it's just crazy the stuff. When you do visit my page, I need to ask a question. I've got 3 posts out there, and 2 of them aren't getting any love. Period. So I don't know if they're not being seen because they were shared, they were posted, but they have zero love on them whatsoever. They are for my sale that I've got going on and of my artwork. And so, if you could, while you're visiting the page after the show, during the show, whatever, to see if you can see those other two videos. Now, there's one that's getting a lot of views. Not a lot. It's got 100 and about 140 views on it, and it's my 9x12 portfolio, which shows Batman 1966 version, Adam West, right there. And okay, I appreciate that because I'm just trying to see if they're just not being seen. Because I know that they were posted, and all of a sudden they're the only ones not getting any views, but the middle one is. That makes no sense, to me anyway. So either TikTok is not showing them, and or something. But and I appreciate the follow. Like I said, Taylor, I will be following you back once the show ends, and um, how are you in your Uber? That's the main thing because we want to make sure you are safe first and foremost. I'm going to say you probably are, but we just want to make sure 100% because it's been over the 5 minutes since I see him. I think, yeah, I've got two different videos that just aren't getting any love whatsoever. Oh, you see your Uber driver? Okay, yeah, yeah, good, good. As long as he verifies when you get there, that's the main thing. Okay, good, good. Just let us know when you get into the Uber, and we will. I mean, we're still going to talk to you, so no big deal there. I have no issues with that. I just want to make sure that you are safe. That is the utmost important thing is that you are safe and secure and heading to your house. You're in an alley in Brooklyn. That does not make me feel any better. I've seen movies about that. Oh, and here we are talking about serial killers, and you're in an alley. Taylor, you're killing me here. Oh, okay. All right. Well, we are going to be here with you until your Uber driver. I mean, we will still be here after the Uber driver as well. But that is as long as you are able to continue to talk, thereafter. So, because again, we want to make sure you are safe and that you are getting to where you are going safely. Because again, that's the main thing. We can talk about all this other stuff, but the main thing is that you are safe. That's the true main thing. Um, because too many people, don't care about other people too much. I get that. The weather here, I'm sweating. I need to turn my AC on. It's 66 degrees. It's going to be closer to 80 degrees by the end of the day, especially around noonish ish time. So, but no problem, Taylor. We are here for you, and I get that you don't do gang members, and they definitely aren't something to mess with, uh, especially when there's more than one. You know, uh, so I totally understand. But yes, Dennis, how's your weather where you're at? So like I said, it's 66 degrees here. It's going to get up to 80, close to 80 degrees here by noon to 1 o'clock in that range. So, and this is the time frame for all of the longer days as the sun doesn't set until nearly 8 o'clock now, and which is awesome for us that work out in the yard and have a garden and things like that. There's six, but they are still standing at the corner. Okay, as long as they're still just standing at the corner, you got nothing to worry about. And I'm surprised your Uber hasn't shown up already, to be honest. That Uber driver would not be getting a tip. Not one iota of a tip. Sorry, bud. Yeah, that didn't turn out too bad. It's not as chrome as I would like, but I had to redo the middle section. You can see the true chrome on the sides over there. Nice here, going to cool down here, and supposed to be snow flurries this afternoon. Well, send it our way because 80 degrees is not fun during the still. I mean, it's still wintertime esque, even though we are, the spring has sprung and all that stuff. Our last hard freeze is in April, so we got to get this back on my truck. But it's now repaired and I can seal the backside. So, but Taylor, yes, keep us informed, please. I know you're still here with us right now. But yes, we would like to have some snow flurries right about now. Uh, yeah, that's the bad thing about Manhattan, up in that area, is that it does tend to snow for a little bit. Not as bad as Alaska, but where you only get like 2.5 months of good weather. Oh, to do whatever you need to do. Which I've always wanted to move to Alaska too. I've got a half sister there in Alaska, in Anchorage. Need to go visit her and just be like, hey, I'm going out in the wild for a week. So, you know, I'll see you when I get back, if I make it back. Because just to see if I could do it, and that would have to be during the winter time when it was negative 45 degrees outside, um, just to see if you could do it. And because I always talk about going up there, and and potentially just disappearing out there in the wilderness, and but it just hasn't happened yet. So on October, right? Sure, let's go. Yes, October would be a good time to do it. But yes, no, the whole aspect, of just disappearing off grid is just fascinating to me because Alaska it has a ton of resources, up there, and salmon fishing would be awesome. I've done some trout fishing, so it's different than salmon fishing, but yes, doing some trout fishing or some salmon fishing would be awesome, especially landing a big old king salmon, putting out your gill nets and things like that during the run, the spawning run, and all that good stuff. That would be cool. And just to gather up enough fish, to to dry out, and then have your fish fry and still have plenty to eat for a substantial amount of time. That would be, I mean, that would just be amazing. Do the same thing with moose and elk, um, and the occasional bear if it came down to it, because it's either you or the bear, those type things. But no, that would just be cool. And to see, and I watch all those shows. I watch all the Alaskan shows, and it's just amazing to just watch it unfold. And then just their resourcefulness, especially up there in Alaska, you still have the barter system. A handshake is your word. You know, you get me this, I'll give you this. Instead of money. My Uber is here. Thank you so much. I don't know how. Oh, you're fine. No, we just want to make sure that you're safe, 100%. Um, and that's what we're here to do. You know, there's too much unkindness in the world. I mean, yeah, you could have said, well, I'm not feeling safe here, and we could have been like, who cares? It's not my problem. But no, it is our problem. We should have more people like that want to make sure that you are safe and get to where you're going, than to have the other flip side of it be just like, well, it's not my problem. You're not close to me, blah, 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 all that good stuff. So we appreciate you, Taylor. And get home safely. And, we'll continue to talk, I'm sure. And not just today, but, future. Because you create a bond, serial killer bond right here. And good. Glad they knew you were on the phone. And that's, again, main thing is you're safe in the Uber and you're now heading to point B, which is hopefully bed to sleep before your next shift. So, yes, the off grid stuff. I've got a solar panel right here that's going to my chicken coop, with all the accoutrements, and I just got to get the battery hooked up to it and all that good stuff, so that it has a source to run the generator, or not generator portion, but the whatever the hell it's called. This little thing, inverter. The inverter. That's what it is. The inverter, right there. That'll be out there in the chicken coop, and make sure that's off before I hook it all up. And there you go. That seems out of whack. There we go. That's better. That's better, like butter. But yeah, I'll get this thing hooked up, cinched to the wall, where I can get to the plugs and all that stuff. And that way my chickens can have lights and they can have some fans and all that good stuff during the summertime, and to draw out all of the ammonia smell from their bathroom usage in there. But that's just the next step in the evolution of the chicken coop that we've got going on. The chicken coop is about 90% done, so I've still got another 10% to do on it. Oh, yeah. Well, I live in a concrete jungle, so no animals but pigeons and ducks in the park. Haha. Now I get that. I have ducks in my backyard. I've got geese in my backyard too. I've got 4 ducks, 3 geese, 19 plus the new chicks for the chickens. So, we got 25 chickens again. We've got 2 pigs. We've got 2 dogs, 3 cats, plus a stray that hangs around. So yeah, we're covered in animals. Um, oh, we've got a koi pond, so we've got goldfish and koi out there in the pond, which are going to widen that out all the way around. So and then move the ducks and geese over to that section so that they can climb in the pool in the pond anytime they want to. So there you go. That's what homesteading does. You have a lot of stuff. You get a lot of eggs, a ton of eggs. And I got to get my kiosk set up so that I can sell those eggs on a more regular basis. That's the big thing. So, but that is that. How far are you from point A to point B? NOLA in New Orleans. I've been there. I was there for Katrina relief in '05 with the National Guard. And so, but yeah, the whole aspect. How far are you from point A to point B? You left for 4 months. I got you. And yeah, I was there for a month and 5 days during Katrina relief, while the waters were still trying to recede, while they were still trying to fix the levees and all that stuff, the pumps, and it was interesting to be in New Orleans, especially that one bar that never closed down there. 30 minutes across the bridge. Very cool. Very cool. That is a trip in an Uber. 30-minute trip. And you do this almost every day? So I'm sure you work 5 out of the 7 days. So you own two what? I missed that part. Oh, okay. Okay. So you only work every other weekend. Okay, that's cool. What do you do the rest of the week? Oh, you own bars on Bourbon? Oh, okay. I can't remember which one it was, but it was the one that never closed while Katrina was blowing through. Every other place boarded up, closed up, and this bar stayed open the entire time, even after the hurricane ripped through, and even when Hurricane Rita was coming in behind it, they never closed their bar, and I can't remember which one it is. Okay, cool. So you have a bar. So you have bars down there. Which bars are yours? I think I want to go back and go to the Larry Flint Club. That would be cool. Seeing it from the outside was cool, but it was never open over there. Of course, everything was still boarded up, so things were starting to go back to normal. Well, that would be cool. I'm sure you still have your good connections down there, especially if you own bars down there. So that would be that. That's pretty cool. That's awesome. Need to get some artwork hung in your area. Is what we need to do. That's the real thing. We need to get some artwork up in your area because we got a lot that needs to go into new people's houses and in their hands and away from mine. I got 3 portfolios worth of artwork, and yeah, I had some other friends that have lived there most of their life until they moved away, kind of like you did, and and they frequent it, here and there, but they don't they don't call it home anymore. I mean, they still call it home, but you know, it's not their native home now. They need to get it in your establishments is what we need. But that's my life is artwork, paintings from the ones you see back here that glow under black light. My Ozzy Osbournes back there. My Chester. Actually, let me just grab those real fast. As I'm looking back on my life. This one right here. Boom, boom, boom. And that's the first Ozzy piece right there. Slide these back on. Make sure we're still pumping out the music sound. The second one right there. I possibly do, because I follow a lot of people on uh, Facebook, Chester Bennington, and TikTok and things like that. And I know a lot of them live in different areas. I just don't know who lives where. So, on this one, if you hit it with the black light, it looks really cool because it is all glow in the dark black light. And now he's charged. And then, of course, this is my second Joker painting that I did. The first one sold pretty fast, and this one I've held on to for a little bit longer. But yes, I possibly do know several artists in the New Orleans area, just not right off the top of my head. Just because I do know Craig Tracy. Sounds familiar, but I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to go look on them. They're probably on Facebook as well. And yeah, like I said, I follow so many people, especially comic book artists and different painters and things like that. That I probably do have. He probably is one that I do know, but I just can't pull it right off the top of my head. Um, if I do, so just because I follow too many people when it comes to artists and things like that. Because we try to keep in the know with what people are doing and seeing. And I appreciate you saying that's really cool uh, because that's just what I do. It's and if you see those other videos out there, which hopefully they are visible and they're just not getting pushed out or whatever, but it's got all of my portfolio of work in there. What's up for grabs right now, and it is at a discounted rate from its normal price range. So. Um, but yeah, the artists are cool, cool people. Now you get some that are dicks, obviously, and that are conceited and don't like to deal with other artists because my work is more superior than yours, and you get that in all aspects of jobs. No, it doesn't matter what it is: musicians, actors, artists, doctors. Um, because you get those that think their shit doesn't stink, and it's just like, no, it really does. It probably, that caviar really does stink after a while, you know. Not in New Orleans. No, New Orleans is one of those cool places. Um, the voodoo shops and all that good stuff. Um, in fact, not you, absolutely not you. Not saying you. Um, where are you tonight? There you are. This one's based out of New Orleans. Psycho Sal. This is my cover to Psycho Sal number 3. Did a lot of research on the voodoo shops there in New Orleans, and this is about a serial killer being hunted by 2 FBI agents. And this William Russell let me grace the cover of his Psycho Sal number 3, but yet he does not support me. That's what we've been talking about: supporting other artists when they support you. Um, and that's one of my biggest gripes with him is that he doesn't really support other artists out there. He won't like, share, follow, all that good stuff, and that's not cool. That'd be my only gripe out there with that, and that's what the whole topic of today was why other artists won't support someone that supports you. Because I've supported a lot of Kickstarters, I've supported a lot of other artists, and don't get the same love back, if you will. And it's kind of sad when that happens, but it is what it is, you know. So no, I'll totally do that. I talk to people all the time. Just like I met a couple of authors on here. Uh, Kelly Badass is what she goes by here. And no problem. I'll get you that. I'll get you those prices. And she's got a couple of poetry books out on Amazon right now, and it's thoughts on thoughts on thoughts. It's her poetry books. I support her, and we're gonna do a book exchange. She's gonna be getting this and my other book and the third installment of my Condry Man's Best Friend when it comes in. She'll be getting all three of those books, and I'll be getting her two poetry books that she's got on Amazon right now. And Taylor, no problem. I will get you those out there. I will send you a message shortly because um, I'm gonna have to go tend to some animals here shortly. And we are going to be doing the book signing for the book that I did this cover for. So I'm going to have this book available as well. It is called um, Sour Worlds Calamedes, and I did the cover for this book. And it is on Amazon as well. He just got the physical books in hand, so we're going to be doing the book signing on that. And so I'm on published work. I'm actually on another one that's in Amazon as well. Uh, it's called Ori, Ori. It's a friend of mine telling his life story through um, a children's book, and so we created this character of a snow leopard, basically, and oh, I appreciate it. And that's what I am. I'm an indie artist. I have my own comic book series out, 4 issue miniseries coming out one of these days. I'm in the process of working on it. Um, and so it's just taking me a while because I'm not a writer, but I'm writing the book. I am drawing the book. I am inking the book, and I will be self-publishing the book once I find a printer for it. I know several different ones that print comic books and things like that. So we'll be looking forward to that. And I also do book reviews for other entities like Antarctic Press. I've got 3 books I'm going to be doing a book review on for them, and then one from, I can never remember their name because they're an independent title. Diebold Comics is who they are, with their Akimi book right there. Now, I don't know about soon, but that would be cool. But I do want to hit some of the comic book conventions up there in that area because they've got some really good ones up there um, in your neck of the woods, Taylor. So that would be cool. Uh, and to have a friend up there already. I mean, I've got several up there, but to have another friend up there, that would be cool. All hang out. But yeah, I will be getting back into the comic book convention scene again. I just don't know when. Last year was my rebuild year for my brand of 412 Productions, which is right here. Bum, bum, bum. This little alien logo. And I said I'd be back in 2026, and I haven't yet, just because I'm still not ready yet. So, yes, they've got a ton of great art galleries up there that I would definitely visit while I was up there. Um, Even though, you know, after the comic book convention, you don't have a whole lot. How late does do art galleries stay open up there? That's the question. Because you're getting out anywhere between 5 and 6 o'clock at night from the convention, so that only leaves you a couple hours before you go journey around and check things out, and then go to bed just to get up to start the day all over again for the convention. And if it's a 3-day convention, it's even better. So, oh, well, that's cool. That's kind of dangerous too, but if they don't close, that works too. So, yeah, that's pretty awesome. I like that. Because around here, everything closes at a certain time. And you don't have a choice. You either get there early or you're rushed towards the end, you know. So, we have a couple of art galleries here in Fort Smith. Ram is one of them, and there's another one. But they've got some cool stuff, some cool features every now and again. People from outside of Fort Smith artwork. Uh, they should be changing their exhibit here pretty soon from what it was. Because they did have a really cool one in there. I can't remember the artist names right off the top of my head. But a lot of sculpture type stuff and mixed media. Very, very cool stuff. And then if you go up to Crystal Bridges, they've got a lot of Renaissance painters up there as well. They've got some Norman Rockwells and things like that. Oh, wow. Hey, I mean, if they keep people coming through, I mean, they're going to keep the doors open. I get that. But yeah, 5 a.m. on an art gallery, that's kind of crazy. That doesn't happen around here. Let's just say that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if it's selling, they don't close. I get that. Yeah, that again doesn't happen here. They've got a specific time. Everything shuts down, and yeah, that just shows the different parts of the world. You know, when it comes to the tourists and even people that want to visit the art places, because here people are going to do more outdoor stuff when it comes down to it uh, than they would just going to an art museum or something like that, which is sad, because art museums are cool, especially with the many different talents that go through them on a regular basis. So, Taylor, you're full of a lot of knowledge, which is awesome. We like that around here. I know a little about a lot. I don't know everything about everything. I know a little about a lot. So, I'm just listening. I hear animals stirring. But that piece was at a bidding war and started at 35 grand and ended at 150 12 hours later. Sweet. That's awesome. We need to get mine into some bidding wars up there. My Aussie pieces and my Chester piece. It'd be like some comic books I've got around here. If I actually got some of them graded, they could be in a good bidding war on eBay. I'm still learning here. Hey, we all are still learning. If you're not learning, then you've plateaued. And is that exciting? Is that fun? No. Like I always say, your mind is only as big as you want it to be, which means you can still cram stuff in there. Because we're only using what 10% of our brain at most, and yeah, plug it around because the pictures are out there on the post. Share it around to your friends. So I'd like to get it into somebody's hands that would appreciate it 100%. Again, I have T-shirts and hoodies and things like that of them as well. So, but Taylor, we will talk. I've got some animals to attend to, so I am going to kill my live. I do appreciate you. You've been a pleasure to talk to this entire time, and I'm glad you're safe and you're getting close to home. And again, I will send you some information after the fact, after I go deal with some aminals that are in the house that are wanting to go to the bathroom. So, but I do appreciate each and everybody being here, checking out the channel. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions. And as I like to say, as I leave you guys, we will catch you on the flip side. Have a good day, everybody.